Welcome to Coding After Work stream. And again, before we start, we have someone to thank.
Absolutely.
Our sponsors, Progress Telleric, because they have amazing Blazor UI components with over 80, or is it 85?
I think it's 80. I actually checked before the stream, so it's
In the
80.
80s.
Over 80, so
Yeah,
it might be
there you go.
85. Might be 85.
That is true. So if we say 80, we are still not lying.
Yeah.
So chances are, if you are working with Blazor, they probably have what you need. And also their support is really, really good.
It is.
We know firsthand.
So we're recording all the streams and when we put them on YouTube. So if you don't already follow us on YouTube, please subscribe and click the little alert belly that just disappeared.
The belly thingy?
The belly thingy. And so you will get notifications whenever we publish a new video.
Yeah.
But now, let's write some code.
But first, let's look at our backlog. Damn it! So close!
I was in the code already. Look, I already started. It's too late.
You started, it's too late. Oh.
All right,
If only there was a way to change to
Impossible.
DevOps.
Impossible.
So it seems. So what are we doing today? We should list some podcasts.
Let's list some podcasts. Show
Yeah.
podcasts. Let's do that. Sprint number 3.
There we go. We
What
also
about
need to add some styles, I think. Some
styles?
CSS.
A little bit of add color scheme, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that we will do.
That we will do. Let's do that. Add possibility for themes.
Yes, we will start that today.
Accessibility, I think, is a little bit early. I know.
Yeah, we will check along the way, but do the final check we need to work on. We need to have something to work with, first of all.
Yeah.
And we also are in contact with some amazing people who are talking to us about this.
Yeah. I really wanted to upgrade to .NET 6.
I know.
But I did that in my workplace, and I didn't get hot reload to work. Even though the demo project or the find new product, it actually does work, but I didn't find an upside to upgrade at this point. I'm going to hold on, wait a couple of minutes.
Better safe than sorry in this case.
Exactly.
And also, my computer doesn't have .NET 6, so it will still be compatible with my computer.
Yep. So no .NET 6. And I think that...
Hey, I think we have the accessibility, one of the accessibility guys, the amazing one we talked about. Hi, thank you, and welcome. That's great.
So I think that the streams that we have done previously, we've done 3 things.
Yeah, about
so
those.
let's just do 3 things here as well. If there is time, maybe we can do more. All right, so...
Most important thing, show our podcasts. Or list
Show our
them.
podcasts.
Yeah.
So let's do that. So I've actually cheated just a little bit on this one. I know we said that we are going to do all the things on stream, but I did a version of this back in an earlier project, so I actually just took those pieces. I stole them. But we're going to go through them.
That's just smart to reuse stuff. That's not cheating. You're still reusing them on stream.
Exactly. You shouldn't reinvent the wheel again.
So
again
they
and
say,
again.
so they say.
So let's take a look at our components. So I've added a folder named services. And in that folder, I have something called a podcast episode. And that's just a class containing the things that I want to show for a podcast. So I'm just going to bring that class in and we'll take a look at each of the things. So link is going to be the link to the MP3 file. Title is going to be the title of the show. Content is the show notes. So all the things that we talk about, the links to the guests and all of that. Publish date is a date when it gets published. And image is the image for the speaker. Now, we have some work to do there.
Yeah, we do. We really, really do. Because the page we have today is, let's call it less than optimal. So we had to do a lot of, shortcuts here and a shortcut here, and we try to patch things up with duct tape, and that doesn't really work out in the long run. So we know that we need to upload all the images again for the different guests we have had, but that's a tomorrow problem.
That's a next stream problem. Oh,
maybe people don't want to watch me upload a bunch of images. I don't know.
And last but not least, we have an ID. That's the ID of the show, the unique identifier of the show. So we easily can get there. And then I have a podcast service. And in there, I have a link. So we're using Libsyn for our podcast, which is a service which is pretty cheap. It's not free. I think it might be free if you have very small podcasts. Our podcast is around an hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, I think maybe the podcast for 20, 30 minutes and just once a month might be free. So they have a free tier, but we are not on that. But Libsyn is basically the one that we upload our podcast to, and they push it out to different platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the really nice thing about that is that they have connections to Spotify, for example. They have, I'm always forgetting the name, Audible.
Yep.
We just released on Audible, actually, just this week. They have connections to iTunes and all of that. And,
Yeah, all of the big ones.
Yeah, basically just click in a checkbox and say, hey, I want to be available on this platform as well. So we have an RSS feed. So I checked let's pop into the web browser and just take a look at the file that we are getting back.
Can you enlarge the font? Thank you.
There we go. So Coding After Work is the name of the show, .libsyn.com, and then you can add whatever kind of file you want back. So in this case, we have Spotify, and I can replace that with RSS, for example. Now, RSS had a little bit of a problem because it doesn't contain the image for the episode.
Yeah.
So the episode image is missing in this case. Everything else is there. So I checked the different versions, and the Spotify one has a image. Let's see if we can find it somewhere.
That's nice of them.
It is.
So it's basically an RSS with the image and some Spotify stuff.
I'm not sure if there actually is that much Spotify stuff going on, to be honest.
Well, I'm okay with that.
If we take a look, I mean, the iTunes, it has the iTunes prefix for the image. So that is actually an iTunes functionality that we're not getting in the RSS, but we're getting it in the Spotify version. I'm guessing that I don't know the URL. I don't think it is iTunes. iTunes. No. So there is
Oh, that is an old image.
It is. Look at that.
Yeah.
One of the apps that we built.
Windows
another
8
one.
and Windows Phone and a really old Kinect for
And
for
Gadgeteer
360.
over here.
Yeah. That's an old image we used for Coding After Work when we were only doing IRL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So back to Spotify.
Back to Spotify. So we're using Spotify. So in the XML, there is let's see here. So there's a little bit of information about the show. We don't need that. We already know that information, but we could use that information if we want to. Then we have items, and every item has a title. It has a pub date, the GUID, which is the unique identifier that we're going to use. We have a link, which links to the MP3. Now, there is ways to configure libsyn to link to different things. In my case, or in our case, we have selected MP3. We could link to another URL, or we can link to the episode homepage on libsyn if we want to. But we want the MP3. That's good.
Yeah.
And we have an iTunes image. iTunes image. Got a little bit of a description with all the links and stuff and all the good stuff.
Oh yeah, that's basically the show notes.
Exactly. And then we have... What do we have here? Oh, the actual MP3. Didn't we have that over here? Yeah. Okay. We have the MP3 again, apparently.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And we have the duration if we want to show that as well. But we're not going to use that, at least not today. So let's pop back into Visual Studio. So the first thing we need is a list of podcast episodes. So I have a list. I'm using the nullable functionality in Visual Studio. I'm actually using, as you can see here, I'm using Windows 11. I'm so happy that it's finally arrived to my computer.
I am not.
We should totally talk about this.
I'm not as brave.
I'm not sure if you have seen a lot of Windows 11, but if you see here, we got a start button down here in the middle, centered in the page.
Everything is centered kind of like iOS, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Mac OS.
Mac OS, yes. That's what I meant, yeah.
And let me see if I remember right. The Fitts law says that the shorter distance to something is the best UX or something like that.
I don't
something
think exactly
UX.
What?
Are you saying that is not the algorithm?
I don't think that's the complete description. It's about predictable movement in human-computer interaction.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So the closer things are, the better.
The amount of time required for a person to move the pointer or a cursor or whatever, the better. Well,
fair enough.
The shorter the better. So you got your shorter than better.
Now, not entirely sure if there is an exception to Fitts law or if Fitts law actually has this built in, but the accuracy, it's basically what if I understand you right, is that the accuracy of finding a button, for example, is increased if the distance is if there's a short distance, right?
I think you are actually merging two of the laws, because Fitts law says the amount of time required for a person to move a pointer to a target area is a function of the distance of the target divided by the size of the target. So it has to do with the size as well.
Okay,
and what you are thinking of is if you have the buttons in the lower left or upper right or whatever corner, the size of the button is actually infinite, because it doesn't matter if you go a little overboard, because you can't move the cursor outside of your area usually.
Right.
There are some exceptions to that, of course, but...
So the thing here is that they moved the start button to an arbitrary position on the screen.
Yeah. Which will change.
Yeah. Depending on how many applications I have running, the position of the start button is going to change.
Yeah.
But in case the old version, I was able to just drag my mouse pointer down to the corner, and it's going to trigger the start button.
Yeah, you're going to hit it anyway. You
Yeah.
don't have to be that precise, and you don't have to actually look at it really, because you know it's there.
So I talked to a friend that is he's using Mac OS for everything, and I addressed this particular problem, and he said that yeah, sure, that might be a problem, but how often do you use the start button? And I said, well, fair. I'm usually using the start button on the
Physical
keyboard.
yeah.
So I guess he's right about that, but I would still prefer the start button to stay in the left corner.
If it would have been stationary in the middle and the icons would go on left and right side, I would still buy it, because then it's at least on one place. Now it's always to the left of your stuff, but yeah, it's complicated.
It is, however, possible to configure it to have it on the left side, so that's good.
And we have a comment. Next step is they try to figure out when you want the start button and move it as close as to the pointer as possible. Yes, like those online games you can have. Try to catch the... it's a reverse try to catch the button game. Mm-hmm. Remember those where they just you have pop-ups and you're supposed to catch them with your mouse cursor and they just move the instant you come close. Kind of a reversed version of that.
All right, back to the code.
Enough ranting about the start button.
Yeah. So I've added a function or method that returns a value task. And it's going to return a value task of a list with podcast episodes. So I'm saying get episodes. It's called get episodes. So I didn't know what a value task was. Well, I knew when I wrote it, but the really cool thing about value tasks is that it can return a task, but it can also return a value, kind of in the name. But instead of using task that will always create the a separate thread and everything to get things done using the await keyword. If you're not using the await keyword for some reason, then a value task is going to be way less memory, for example. So we have two paths in this method. One is that we already downloaded the episodes. We're already done with that. Then we can just return it. We don't have to use await. We don't have to spin up any threads or anything. That's when it's only going to return the value. Otherwise, if we need to get the data, then we can use an await keyword. So
2 in 1.
2 in 1.
I like when they're
candy
doing the work for me. Well, for you in this case.
Let's bring in a couple of more lines of code. So I'm checking if episodes, which is the internal variable, if that is null. So I'm checking if I've done anything. It's okay if it's 0 because maybe we don't have any podcast. But if it is null, don't have any episodes at all, I want to create a new list. I want to create a HTTP client. Now this is a little bit of code smell. I don't like this one, but I haven't rewritten it yet.
But our goal is to get it up and running.
Yeah.
And then we can refactor it.
But code smell.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know the meme where there's a cat let me see if I can bring that up. I can find
Are you seriously going looking for memes now?
it. It's a cat.
Well,
So
it is a
let's
cat.
find Cat junior programmer or something like that. No?
Well, why didn't you press images?
There it is.
Oh, okay. So there's one cat holding another cat on like shut up
Oh, we're going
and holding him back as well.
Yeah. So, this is not the time, Junior. Today's release day. And the other cat is going like, bug, there is a bug.
Yeah.
This is kind of, it's a cold smell. It's a cold smell. You can see the cold smell.
Do you want me to hold you back?
In this case, yes.
Well, to be fair, the CSS is probably going to smell as well. So there's that.
So we are instantiating a HTTP client. We should inject this into the code instead, but let's just keep it this way for now. We are setting a base address, which is a feed URL, and we're going to get the feed, the XML feed as a string. Then I'm going to parse everything. So let's bring in this stuff. So basically what I'm doing, I'm finding the root of the XML. I'm getting the items, the feed items. And for each of those items, I'm going to just create a new episode and put that in the list. Let's bring that back there. We also have a method to parse the date. So I'm going to bring in that as well. So we're parsing the XML, we find in the GUID, we find in the description, the link.
We get everything.
Yeah, we get everything. And I'm sure that there are some kind of better way to do this. But
we can work on that in the upcoming episodes. Yeah. As long as we get it up and running.
And as you may see here as well, I'm using first and not first or default and stuff like that. So if there is, if this XML would be missing something, this would totally blew up. But I'm fine with that for now.
Up and running first.
Up and running.
Done is better than perfect. So
All right, so we implemented this in codingafterwork.components. And that's because we're going to use this in all the different types we want to run these components. So I'm thinking that maybe in the future, we will do a WebAssembly version. We might do a MAUI version. And all of that will be possible. So we're going to bring in our startup, we need to get the dependency injection to give us one of those services. So we're going to go services, add. I'm going to add a singleton.
And not a weather forecast service.
Not a weather forecast service.
Which we get by doing a file new in Blazor. If I recall correctly.
That's true. Podcast service. We called it that, right? So we're using Visual Studio 2022. And also
living on the edge.
Yes. And actually has a way better support for Blazor. So that's good. But there's nothing we do here that you won't be able to do in 2019.
2019, yeah.
So we're bringing
because again, we're doing this in .NET 5 and not .NET 6.
Yeah. For some reason.
Because I said so.
Did you dictate that?
I don't know. No, I think you got scared and I just clamped onto that one.
So I brought in the podcast service. We're going to create one of those. And then let's see here. We're going to create a new page that we're going to call. Why am I not getting? Let's see here. We're going to go into not components. We're going to go into, okay. So we have all the pages in the root of the component, right?
Messy.
So add, yes. I don't like it.
Again, done is better than perfect for this.
True. So for some reason, I'm not getting the... usually when you right-click, you will get a created a new Razor file. So we're just going to create one Razor component.
Right. Yeah, but I had issues with that as well. It had to I needed to do it twice before it actually showed me the Razor component.
And you have, so I'm outing you a little bit here.
Oh, of course you are.
Every time you hear Razor page,
Yes.
something else is going through your mind.
Yes.
Tell us.
Taserface.
Is that your name?
Exactly. So that's from oh my gosh, Guardians of the Galaxy, where Rocket Raccoon says that to the person whose name is Taserface. And I hear Razor Page the same way he says Taserface, and I can't get it out of my head. So you're welcome. It's now stuck in all of your heads forever.
I can give you another one.
What's that?
Every time you hear WASM,
Yeah.
you should think about the, what is it, Buzz? What is it? Is it Buzz? The beer?
Oh, yes.
WASM!
The old commercial back in the day.
Yeah, now we're totally dating ourselves.
We are.
You know the commercial from the beginning of TV?
You know
black
when we
and
had
white?
those fat TVs and you had to go up and... The toads!
All right, so we got a new shiny Razor component, not a page.
Yeah. That's why we're doing the components and not pages, because...
Because the name. So we're going to add a page directive, and we're going to say that if we browse to episodes, we're going to get to this page. Great.
Which is going to contain our episodes.
Are they?
I hope so.
That would be awesome. So let's...
Oops.
More toads.
Yeah, more toads.
So here we want to add a list of podcast episode. Podcast. Right, I'm not getting IntelliSense just yet. Podcast episodes. There we go. And this should work. It's not working. Why is it not working?
We have all the fun in the chat room.
Episodes equals null. Let's try and write it out. Let's see if it gets some IntelliSense. No, we're not getting IntelliSense.
That's why I am on Visual Studio 2019. Oh my gosh,
Well,
I'm trigger happy today.
These kinds of things do not work in 2019. I can tell you that.
Yeah,
Episodes, that's because I'm spelling it wrong. There we go. We got IntelliSense, my friends. There we go. It didn't work.
No.
Let's try it again. No.
No IntelliSense for you.
Oh, come on, I wanted to show you this.
So remove it and start again.
You think that will help?
I don't know. That's what I do. Turn it on and off and on again. Wait, you pasted it. You didn't... I meant type it again.
Show potential. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
So this usually works.
So what was supposed to happen then?
It should have added the
using statement. Yeah. That is actually kind of handy.
It should be working in it should be working in 2019 as well, but it's not.
Well, apparently your Visual Studio is behaving as well as Stacy's today. Yeah, it's something going around. So, question is, Stacy, are you on 2019 or 22? 22. Refactoring without IntelliSense was interesting. Oh gosh, I'm not envious at all.
Right, so we want to load the episodes when we initialize the page. So let's override the uninitialized async. And we want to get the episodes. Episodes equals. We're going to await the. I'm not spelling today, apparently. We're going to await the podcast service. We're going to name it with a small p instead. And we're going to run the the method get episodes.
Apparently it's all Visual Studios because it was 2019 today.
So we also need to inject the service into the page. So let's do that. Inject since I can't spell, let's do it.
Let's copy
like
paste.
This. So we're going to inject the podcast service and we're going to call it, podcast service. That's fine. And we got a red squiggly telling us that we need to make the method async or use the keyword async. And we need to change the base implementation as well. So there we go.
To await.
To await, yes. So now we are getting the episodes, hopefully, when we go into this page. But first, we need to show them.
That would be helpful.
Do you think?
I would say so.
So we're going to add an if statement in the Razor file. And we're going to check if the...
Razor file.
We're going to check if the episodes is null. We are going to use the text. I assume it's a component. That is a way to add text within code like this without adding an HTML tag. So we just want this to be printed on the screen. We probably want to do this with a kind of a progress thingy or whatever at some point. But for now, we're just going to add the text.
So a loading text, basically.
Yeah.
I think you have caps lock on.
Loading podcast.
But while you are retyping that, we have a Blazor question.
All right.
When working in a components project, is there an equivalent to imports or underscore imports for the using statements that you use often?
Yes. It's right here.
And you're pointing to an underscore imports.razor file.
So
you just put all your using statements in there and it will be included?
Yeah. Awesome. So what is actually happening is that the Razor files are going to be, I don't know the correct word for this, but they're going to be changed to C# code in the end. So it's really not executing anything, not executing Razor files. It's going to be changed into C# and I can't speak today.
The C#?
The C# is going to include all the namespaces in the underscore imports file.
How did I miss that? It's right there on the screen.
It is.
But now the world knows. Also, it was a good question.
So,
so now we have a text that says, if we don't have anything, no data at all.
No data at all.
Put out a text saying loading podcasts.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're doing what?
Otherwise, we're doing something else. We are adding a div. Like so. We are adding a for each statement. We're going to call it var p for podcast in episodes. Should totally be an E, shouldn't it?
Probably, but it could have been an episode.
Episode.
No.
Not going there.
No.
Not going there.
That's the outtakes.
And we're going to create an article. Like that. And in there we should have an image. And the image should be
The podcast image, shouldn't it?
podcast. I can't handle that. No, it needs to be called something else. There we go.
So it's now called EP,
EP.
as in episode. Ep.
Episode.
Yeah. So we're loading eps.
I can't handle that.
Oh, that's fine.
So we are adding, in the source attribute, we're going to add an @ sign, because we're moving into C# land, ep.image. So got that out of the way. Going to add a div. And while we're doing all of these divs and stuff like that, that will be apparent in a bit. So we're going to add a anchor tag, so an a tag with which is going to link to the to another page that we're going to do in just a bit. So
An unbuilt page.
an unbuilt page.
Secret page.
So we're going to use the @ tag, and then we're going to add parentheses, because that is a way to write C# code combined with a string in this case. So I wouldn't be able to just say an @ sign and or write text and then just plus an @ sign or something like that. I need
Needs to be in the parentheses.
Yeah, it needs to be inside of that.
So probably so we can interpret it correctly.
So we're going to add a $sign. And we're going to write episode, because that is the page that we're going to create in just a bit. Episode. There we go. No.
Nope.
Episode. There
Nope.
we go. What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a marker, so it looked like you had an episode. Sorry.
And then we're going to use the brackets, curly braces, and say we're going to add ep.id. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to create a link, which is linking to the page episode with, and then /, and then we're going to have the ID of the show, or the episode.
And you're writing in like this because we don't know the ID of whatever show we are currently writing or getting.
Don't know the ID.
I mean, we don't know. You could do, 60 pages and call them episode 1, 2, 3. But since you're parsing through them, you're just doing it this way. It's more effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's adding the episode from the when it's
Parsing.
looping through it.
Right.
I could have done a string, just string and plus EP ID, but using these, I don't remember the name of the strings, stringy thingy.
Stringy thingy.
Basic, what we're doing, we can use curly braces and inject the variables inside of that.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. And we're gonna add the title of the episode right there, and we're gonna end the e tag. There we go. And we want to show the publish date as well. So I'm gonna create a div for that.
Here we go. String
Yes, thank you.
interpolation. You can't speak today. I can speak today. What are we doing here?
This is going to go well. But if everything just fails, you got Razor Page.
Yes.
Got
yes.
that? And wassam!
I'm sorry and you're welcome.
All right, we are done with this
So
page,
we
I
have
believe.
an episodes page.
We have an episodes page, and we got a little bit of squiggly lines. Let's see if that is just
Why is it
Visual
squiggly?
Studio kidding around, or if
It
that's
does that
something else.
sometime.
It is. It does.
And we heard that from apparently I can't even remember names.
Daniel
now.
Roth.
Daniel Roth, yeah.
Let's take a look. Let's see if we can reconnect. Episodes.
Okay. Did you spell that with there? That's the old page.
The old page?
Yeah, you had an H2 before we started to load the data.
Oh, that's good. I approve of this. Let's build it again then. See if it picks it up. Yeah. Episodes.
And you don't have to use a uppercase E?
No.
Okay.
Let's see. Maybe oh, look at it. It's failing. That's good. So there's something.
Yes, Windows
going
11.
on.
We had a rant about the start button when we started out. Because they moved my cheese.
Look at that. This
You found
guy.
it? The little...
Can you see it? This guy.
Oh, you have 2 end tags? Oh. Uh-oh.
Okay, we got a little bit of error still. Let's build it again. Let's see what happens. Succeeded. Let's try it again then. Hello world. Episodes.
Epidodes.
There we go.
We have an episode.
Some huge images.
Really huge images.
But they are here.
Yeah, and we have the data, and it's linked. Hey, there's another extra end tag in the title. So
Look at that.
I think what happened is that you are a little bit too fast when you got help from Visual Studio, so you closed the tag as well. But there's no
Let's see,
extra.
maybe
Yeah, no, there's no extra.
Starting there. Ending there.
That is interesting.
Oh, there it is.
Ha! It was hidden.
So, a lifetime of using...
Stacy found it before us. And you say you can't find Legos. You can find code errors like nothing.
a lifetime of using Visual Studio or even Visual InterDev. And then they add, well, if you add one parenthesis, we can add the other one. Yeah, but I already have functionality for that.
It sits in your muscle memory.
It's built in.
Yeah. Will take a while, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
And this is actually, if we do a change, let's do something drastic. Let's say...
InterDev? That's going back. Yeah. He was dating us and he keeps digging.
Mm-hmm. So we're just going to add some random text here. That is not going to work. Let's add some random text here instead. There we go. We're going to save it. And it should pop up. There we go. So I don't even... I just need to save it and it's just going to pop up. This is 2022.
Yeah, I did not have that
to.
for 2019.
Yep.
Because if I'm doing any changes in the Razor pages, I need to rebuild it. If I'm doing changes in CSS, it will take it.
Yep.
But that is...
So this should work better.
That is seriously cool. So I will probably build it because it's in my fingers. No, it's not. But it sounded good.
Right. So we need a page for the episodes as well.
Yeah, for the episode.
Singular.
To show the show notes and more information.
Yeah. So let's create one of those.
So another Razor component.
Yes. Called episode.
Yeah, this is this is going to bite us later because we have one episode and we have one episodes.
So what is happening now is something that I've seen a couple of times in 2022. You see
Visual Studio is just blinking.
Something is blinking.
It's basically a tab of a file that's blinking.
And if I just close a couple of tabs, it goes away.
So it was tired? I wish my web browser did that when it got tired instead of just eating up my memory. I didn't have to close any tabs.
So we're going to add a page directive on this one as well.
Can I guess?
And yeah, sure.
Episode.
Episode, that's right. That's right. Apparently not what I'm writing. Oh, come on. There we go. But we're also going to add something else. We're going to add an ID. We need to send in what episode we want to look at.
Right.
So we're going to add a brackets.
A brackets. A pair of brackets.
Pair of brackets. Call it ID. And we're going to say that it's a GUID, because it is. And we're going to pop down to our code segment here. Let's see if...
Do you start at 4? IV. I don't understand this question. Do you?
the episodes?
Oh! Well, we should probably start at 20.
So usually... Well, I think it's a Star Wars reference.
Oh. Oh my gosh. How did that went just way over my head. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Stacy has Razor Page, but she hears that with episode 4.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, fair enough.
Yeah.
So, with Visual Studio, you usually can say like prop and press tab, but this is not working for me in 2022.
So no help for you.
No help for me. I'm not sure if that's something they changed or if it's just
It's probably
temporary.
not just in there yet.
So let's go. We're going to
Because
create a
that's a big
public GUID.
change.
Call it ID. We're going to put a getter and setter in there. And we're going to add an attribute on there called parameter. Parameter. So this is automatically going to take the parameter or the in the URL, going to take that ID, this ID, and just put it inside the variable because it's a parameter and it has the same name, ID. Ta-da! Kind of cool. We're going to have a podcast episode. Podcast episode. Let's see if we can get some IntelliSense here. No.
You're on your own.
Am I running the latest one here?
Well, you can't.
Preview 2, yes. So let's go using... Actually, let's try something else. Let's go into our imports file.
Yeah.
Where we should have these things.
Where
We're
it's supposed to go.
using coding after work dot components. Actually, this one is in services. So let's add that one as well.
Episode.
And episode, thank you. There we go. Worked.
Hey, you got IntelliSense?
Mhm.
Awesome.
I'm gonna use. We're gonna say that this can be nullable. Episode equals null. There we go. And we want to override the uninitialized async. We want that to be async as well. I don't understand why. I mean, there's two methods. One called uninitialized and one called uninitialized async. Well, it kind of figures that I want the async method to be async.
One would think.
But no.
It's in the name.
No, that is not how
That
we're going to do
is
that.
kind of odd.
Same thing goes. There's a snippet that is not working either. That is, I think it's para. That is going to create a Blazor parameter. But that parameter is not public. So if I build that, it's going to say, hey, the a parameter needs to be public. But just do it from the beginning.
You made it like this.
You're helping me create a parameter. So the
Well,
first,
you need to do some work yourself.
so the first thing we need to do is we need to get the episode. So episodes. I guess we could build this into...
No, you need to get the episode.
No, we need to
Oh,
sew
right,
episodes
because
first.
okay,
I guess we
got
could
it.
build this into our service later on, but let's do
For
it
now.
like this for now. Gonna await the podcast service. Podcast service. There we go. But with a little p. And with a little p. That's
that
a clip.
sounded not nice. Please
With a
don't.
lowercase p.
Thank you. That's much better.
And get episodes. So I injected the podcast service, and I am getting all the episodes at this point. Then I want one episode. So one episode, I'm going to get it from my episodes list. And I'm going to get first or default. And in there, I want... No, I'm writing P again. So EP dot... No, arrow. EP dot... We're going to find the ID with... The episode with the ID and the from what we are sending in. So there we go. So we got we're getting a collection or a list of episodes, and we are saying that we want to get them. We want to get that particular episode from there. So there we go, and now we need to show it as well.
That would be very handy.
It would, right? So we're gonna add a if statement, checking if the episode is null. So that is not how you do that. If episode is not null, I want to show the episode name. So let's say H2, and in there we're gonna add episode dot title. So we got an header of type 2 showing the episode title. Let's add an image. Add a source, and that source should be at episode dot image. And we're gonna add a height to that one as well. We're gonna change this to something to CSS or something later on. And we're gonna add a markup string and simply write out the episode content. So a markup string is going to write out the HTML as it is. So normally, if you would just put out the just output the content of a string, it will escape all the characters, so there won't be HTML. But now we're using now it makes sure that the things that it's outputting is not escaped. There we go, episode content, and we want to add a audio tag as well. So the audio tag is going to show us the a small player. So let's bring in so what you're doing with an audio tag, you can add different kinds of inputs. So for example, I believe that Firefox or something like that doesn't support MP3s or something like that.
Oh,
or I'm not maybe the mobile versions or whatever. So you can add different kinds of files here. So you can say this is WAV file, this is OGG file, this is an MP3 file. In this case, we only have MP3. So we're gonna say at episode dot. Why isn't it helping me? Maybe because I don't have the add the end tag there as well. So
Oh, you have double end tags again on
look
the
at that.
audio.
Yeah, so I see it. Okay, there we go. So we're going to add a source, and we're going to add a source to the link. So the link to the MP3 files in this case. And the type is going to be audio. I'm guessing MP3 should work.
Oh, that sounds about right. It is an MP3 file.
It is. So there we go. So if we go into our web browser, reload it, we go into one episode, let's go into Eagle Hansen, and there we go.
Yeah, image is smaller, and we have all the links and stuff.
Yeah.
And the title.
But do you see something missing?
Timestamp?
Fair enough. But the
Oh,
MP3.
yeah, the MP3 player. We need a player.
That's simply because the audio is invisible unless you add controls.
Yeah.
Controls.
Oh, that could be horrible. Just put it on autoplay and no way to turn it off.
That might work.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. Please, people, don't do that.
So now we have a player. We can press play. We don't hear it, but you should. And we have the volume, and you can download the file as well. So we get all of that for free.
Don't give people ideas. No, exactly. Don't. We cannot do that with invisible sound.
So I have a component that I'm working on to get a little bit more functionality with audio. But I think I'm going to keep that so you can show a little bit of CSS.
Yeah, we could put that in the backlog.
Yeah. And it's actually not done, so that makes sense.
Well,
so let's switch places.
Okay, let's see if we can do that magically and bring in all our cables.
Here's your soda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see. 500 mouse clickers here. And I don't even need one of them. Or maybe I do. So first of all, I think we should remove all the styling that we have whatsoever on the page, because why not? It will be beautiful, not. And I think that I can't find the share page. Here we are in the main layout. Do you have your mouse inverted? So Jimmy is ambidextrous.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Just if I mess up, it's your fault.
I don't think I have that on that computer because I usually do presentations with it.
Yeah, well, there you go. So you actually are using both left and right-handed mouse pointers where on different places.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. Okay, so let's remove basically everything but the inherits and the body tag.
So basically what we're doing here is removing the bootstrap, right?
Yes,
removing all the things, the bootstrap.
Yes. Mostly because we talked to Ed Chabana on the last episode, right?
Second to last.
Second to last, yeah. And mostly because I don't like the bootstrap because it's too big, I don't get it, and it teaches me nothing. Okay, what else? We have pages. We have a host page of some sort. Where is pages?
So that would be in
there you go.
Yeah. This project's a little bit different.
Yeah, of course it is.
Of
course it is.
Otherwise, it would be simple.
Where is... Let's see. We want to remove the bootstrap.
So we would probably want to move the main layout and the CSS and all of that stuff into the component library. Again, that's a problem for another time.
So now we have 2 style sheets. So is this created for this project? So are we using that one and we're scrapping the one we got from Bootstrap?
No, we're keeping the site one.
Yeah.
We're using that one because the other one is for the isolated CSS.
Oh, okay.
Now we're not using isolated CSS, or we shouldn't use it for this project, but let's keep it there.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Let's do that and save. And we have some CSS here. Here's the site CSS. Let's remove everything. Well, not everything. Let's remove everything but the Blazor error UI. So the Blazor error UI is what's happening when the page is reloading and it's taking too long or whatever error there is. So let's keep that, but the other stuff is gone. Come on. There we go. Gone.
So no Bootstrap, no custom CSS at this point.
We have nothing right now. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Do you want to see it?
I want to see it.
And you think we can just, because we're using...
Maybe. That looks horrible, so that might be correct.
It might be correct. So let's go to... Well, there's nothing on episode. No, because...
I mean, there are...
Episodes.
Yes,
there we go. I told you that was going to bite me.
Oh,
yeah, well,
it looks horrible.
Still looks horrible.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's good. That's good.
Is it though? Okay. We also want to make sure that we are in full control of sizing. And we can do that by using... First of all, we type a star. And a star in CSS is a universal selector that matches element of any type, basically. So if select star, well, that's about it. And we want this to be affecting everything. And let's see, where are your Alt-GR? There they are. And we want to put in something called box sizing. No?
You had it.
Yeah, but there we go. I didn't click on it. Now, box sizing is a property that we can control how width and height of an element is calculated. And we can use 2 things. We can use content box, which uses the default CSS box sizing behavior where if you add a border or padding, it will go on the outside of the element. So the element will be larger, even if you set it to 100 pixels and you put a padding of 10, the element will actually be 110 pixels. And we also can use something called a border box, which will tell the browser to account for any borders and paddings. And basically, the content itself will absorb that, and the element will have exactly the size you asked it to be. Now, what we need to do is figure out, do we want the content box that will give us 100 pixel content, or do we want the border box that will give us 100 pixel element if we set it to 100? And I want to be able to control it 100%. If I say it's 100, I want it to be 100, no matter how much padding I put it in. So we will use the content box for, the border box, for that, because I'm a control freak. And we will also set all padding to 0 pixels. And we will set all margins to 0 pixels. Just so we know So we are in complete control. Again, control freak. But if we do that, we can add the padding and margin wherever we want to afterwards.
So I think Visual Studio added some stuff there.
Oh, they
that
did?
Shouldn't be.
What did they add?
The margin block start.
Oh my gosh.
So we got a question.
Stop it.
Can I ask why you shouldn't use it? And I think Stacey talking about the isolated CSS.
Yes.
So the isolated CSS, is nothing wrong with using it. It's a very good thing to use, and a lot of the SPA framework like Angular and React and all that has some kind of isolated CSS. But for me, if I'm thinking about CSS, I want CSS to be for the whole site. I don't want to have specific CSS for one component. I don't want to have to set colors for every component, for example. I want the colors to be universal. I want it to be. I want this padding and all of that be on the whole site and everything. So I don't see. I see a potential. It's really great for the people that are making components. So in my case, the Blossom components would benefit greatly for having that, because then my end user don't have to add a style sheet as well. So there's nothing wrong with it, but we're not going to use it.
You said a little bit. I'm not going to use it.
It's too new.
Don't come here with your modern things.
But that is just a matter of opinion. That the functionality is there, is working.
And
great.
Also, I'm a control freak, so I want to know where the colors goes, and I only want to change them once. And there's probably workarounds for that as well. But for now, I'm going to control freak it. And speaking of control freak, last time we talked about this page, we did a first draft of our color scheme. So I have copied this light color, and we will put in, because I can remember 30-30-30, which is our dark color. That's basically why. So we will use another really cool thing I didn't know about. So root is a pseudo class in CSS that matches to the root element of the tree representing the document. So in HTML, it is matching or representing the HTML tag, so the outmost tag we have. So that's why I'm using this one. And in that, I am going to do something else I didn't know you can do in CSS. I learned so much. Using 2 dashes or minus, whatever you prefer to say, we are setting a custom property so we can change, in this case, our colors later very easy with using our background variable that we define here. So we can define that with just doing dash or background, minus, whatever.
It's truly negative. No, that would be positive,
that would be
right?
positive. Yes, I actually like it. So let's type background, and let's set the color to the light color here. Oh, I got help again.
The name background here, is that just a name, or does it have to be background?
That is made up. I could call it raccoon.
Ooh.
I could call the light colors for raccoon and the dark colors raccoon eyes, for instance. And it's also case sensitive. Ask me how I know. So if I were to do another background, I could just have a large B and confuse myself a lot.
Please don't.
No, I will try
Again,
not to.
I'm with Stacey. Don't give people ideas.
Yes. And what we also talked to Ed Charbonneau about was media queries. You can do so much stuff. And what we are doing, because I usually use light theme, Jimmy does not.
I do not.
And he is hostile about it. So let's put in prefer color.
It's a keyboard, right?
It is.
That's
scheme
Must be.
dark. So if you prefer dark, like Jimmy does, and you have that set in your browser, we want to say, again, we're using the colon root. Come on. And we are setting, there we go. We are setting another, well, actually, we are setting the same variable, but we are setting it to our dark color, which is a very dark gray. 30, 30, 30 is what we're using.
I would argue that dark theme is kind of like Doctor Who.
Okay.
Because either you like Doctor Who or you haven't seen it. So either you
But
like
I have
dark
seen
theme.
dark theme, and I sometimes changed back and sometimes not. Actually, on my phone, I changed to dark theme, but I had so many issues because the apps, they only changed the background color to dark, but they didn't account for their fonts being dark as well. So it was basically black text on black background. So I had to change back.
Don't do that.
No, please don't. Now here, I am saying that in the HTML, set the variable that we call --background.
And IntelliSense.
And IntelliSense. That is actually very handy.
Did you have IntelliSense in
2019?
Yeah.
Some.
Okay.
Some. So we're setting the colors in the root, and also pro tip, don't set the background in the HTML before you ask if they prefer dark theme, because then we don't know if they want that, and we already set the color, and that is not good. Okay, so should we try to update the page and see if anything happens?
Oh, look at that. I'm seeing another background color.
Okay, yeah. So what's happening now is we seriously need to change the size of the images.
You think they're too large?
I think there can be, full screen on a pretty large, yeah, maybe. Maybe. Where do we have those? We have them somewhere. That's in the episodes, right? There. Let's just put... No, we can... Let's just put it in here for now. Right in the image tag on the episodes and say size... No, style.
Height.
Oh my gosh, what is this keyboard? You have your...
It is the keyboard.
Well, you have your home button on the wrong place, and you have the delete button on the wrong place. Let's set the height to, let's say, 150 or something. Let's set it to 100. That's small.
100.
And now let's see. Reloading. And there we go. And I know that the images are horrible. And again, like we said in the beginning, we had to mend certain things in certain platforms with duct tape. So we have a white large frame around every picture. We will change that, but that's not the issue right now. However, I think that this sound color that on paper, well, on web, in the little tiny color scheme here, looks a little bit too dark. So I actually want to change that to a lighter theme. I mean, it's supposed to be a light theme, and this is, well, it doesn't really look as dark on stream, at least not on our TV, but on my screen it's pretty dark. It's medium beige or something. So I actually want to edit that.
And it makes sense. If people want a light theme, it should be light.
Yeah, exactly. We could add the same color later and have that as a medium, because some people like medium better. So let's go and edit that color.
It looks kind of like cappuccino to
It
me.
is kind of cappuccino. A darker version maybe, or cafe au lait? Is it called that? I don't know. Milk and coffee?
I don't do coffee.
Milk and coffee.
Only type of coffee I do is like what are those called? Chocolate thingies.
Chocolate thingies?
Um,
I don't even know what you're talking about. Coffee cake. Okay, so I changed the brightness to 100%, and I am changing the color mode to be cyan, magenta, yellow, and black instead, because I want to mellow down the yellow. Hey, that rhymed. I also want to bring down the super purple, no, super pink. And here we go. This looks a little bit lighter. So let's copy that. Let's save it so I don't forget it. And let's go into the CSS. There we go. And here is our light theme, or our...
Of course, this time you didn't get the bracket.
No, of course. And there we go. It's a little bit lighter. I can live with this for now.
Well, this is a living project. We're going to change things.
Yeah, but what we didn't do was actually check this color for accessibility, and we did that last time. So if we click on check for accessibility, we get no conflict for color issues. So we can see down here a preview on how it would look with the different versions of color deficiencies. But I also want to check the contrast, because contrast for me is very important. And of course, they are not bringing over my colors, but I remember they are 30, 30, 30, and I had the other one in the clips. Here we go. We have an awesome contrast ratio of 12.42. Well, it's not awesome, but it's really good. And for AAA, we will still get points. And you can actually see how it will look in dark theme as well. And I think this is readable.
So you're saying that according to W3C standard,
Yeah.
It's getting the highest rating.
It is. By far. It's actually going quite a bit above. So that's good. I try to get as high as possible without hurting everybody's eyes.
We're totally going to clip that as well.
Oh, we are?
I'm trying to get as high as possible.
Don't clip that. That's not nice. Okay, so let's put in the font colors as well, because we didn't do that. So while we're in root, we can do the same thing. We can add a variable and just call it font minus or dash color. And Stacy's gonna cringe because I'm spelling in American, in the American way. And we had 30, 30, 30 is our dark color. And if they prefer dark theme, we can set the font color. See, now I get some intelligence. We can set that to whatever I had in my clips, the off-white, or whatever we want to call it, the light version. And while we are in here, we can actually...
This is that it does make sense when working with CSS.
Which one? Getting high?
I think it was a spelling of color.
Are you sure? It depends. I mean, CSS back in the day, well... so we also want to add our... Well, I can't spell to body. We also want to add our font colors to the body and to any URLs we have. Let's see, here we go. And we want, again, we are setting the color variable to our font color. And that's about it.
So I went through the things that the work items in the backlog, and we had one of the work items that we actually are doing today had add color scheme, I believe it was, in SAS.
Oh, right.
So-
yeah, we decided not to do that. We should talk about that.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm a fan of SAS is because it has variables. That's the first
Yeah.
one. And then we noticed that, hey, CSS has variables. So we don't
Yeah.
have to use it just because of that.
And also for me, I think it's easier to read up on CSS, like raw CSS, because then I can differ from what's CSS and what's SAS, and it doesn't go jumbled in my head.
And the other upside with SAS, from my perspective, is that you can have nestled tags.
Yeah.
So if you want something to be if you instead of creating duplicates, you can nestle the different.
How's it going for you?
Yeah,
While you're doing that, I am removing the text decoration underline for all the URLs, so they're not underlined because everything will be clickable. Yeah, carry on.
I've been struggling explaining SAS for a while now. So.
Yeah.
But those kind of function, this is going to be a simple page. We're not going to have a lot of stuff going on. So let's just keep it plain vanilla. Let's start with CSS. Let's see where it takes us. And there's another reason. Because SAS is then compiled or transpiled or whatever to CSS. And that plugin is not available for 2022 just yet.
Hey, have you already moved everything from... Yeah, you have. All the episodes are already in the episodes, so that's good. I was here when you did it. So let's go into the Razor page.
The Razor component.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's not that fun. And we have an article that goes around here. We have the div that goes encapsulates the episode title, and publish date has their own inside of that. Awesome. But we also need to put in some classes, and I'm going to do a Jimmy and type them in first because you may or may not get help, right? So let's put on the outer div, let's put a class and call it episodes layout, like so.
You
And
missed an equal sign.
oh, whoops.
Pair
we go.
programming.
Yes, live on TV. We also want, we can do that directly here. Let's remove the height from the image and do that in CSS as well. And add a class. And not forget the equal sign and call that episodes image, because that is an image. And we also have, well, this is a text, right? No, we should put that in the div above it. We should put a class that we name episodes text, because this is our text. And one last I want to put, because I know we will have issue with this. Let's put one last class here before we go in and actually write them, and call it timestamp, because I think that the actual time isn't as important as the well, the title. So where's my CSS file? Oh, now it's my CSS file. There we go. And in here, let us. We had the episode layout, right? Episode layout.
I think it was plural though.
Episodes. Yes, of course, because it is for the episodes page. I told you that it was going to bite me. So for now, if we look at that page, well, now it's still huge, but we get one single row, even regardless if they are small images or large images, and we can fix that by saying display flex. So it will be flowing the stuff for us, so we can get multiples on the side as well. And I also want a grid gap because, again, I learned this from Ed, that you could put gaps between your within your grid. And it's not like before, it's not like padding or margin that will be on bottom and top and everywhere, because the gaps will always go on the inside element and not have a gap after the last one, which I like.
That is super handy.
It is super handy. And I also want margarine. No, I want margin. Oh, your right arrow key and FN button is wrong. Just so you know.
It's wrong. Just wrong.
It's just wrong. Because I am pressing the FN button and nothing happens. Okay, and what else did we have? We have the episode image. Episodes image. And let's set the size here, because sometimes you need to change it and you don't want to go into every page to do that and find it. And let's set that to 100 pixels, just like we had before.
I think you said episodes.
Oh my gosh.
It is the keyboard.
I was laughing. Yeah, episodes. I was laughing at you having issues spelling episodes, but apparently it's this.
It's contagious.
Yeah, it is. Episodes.
Maybe I should just move out of the way. Could you scroll up,
Oh, yeah,
maybe?
of course. I didn't realize. Let's do that.
There we go.
There we go. And we still had the text, right?
Mm-hmm.
Episode text. And... No? Because again, your buttons are all wrong. I need to get used to your keyboard if we're doing this again. And we want the text container to be, let's say, 300 pixels. So it actually will break the header, because they are different. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're super long, and we don't want that. And we also want it to float left. There we go. And what else? We had the timestamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put in, while we're at it, timestamp.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't that an episode timestamp?
Because we might have timestamps on different places.
Okay, fair enough.
And I was actually thinking about naming it episodes timestamp, but because we can actually reuse this, I don't think it's...
Sure. Sure. I'm buying that.
Awesome. And I want the font size to be really teeny tiny. No, I don't want that, but I still want it to be a little bit smaller. So font size. And now they can do the work for me, because I can just type small or smaller or extra large and so on. So I don't even have to think about it. So let's try.
Is that going to be relative to the original font size?
Yes, I believe so. Because they have some sort of secret standard. I think the standard is said to be 18 points? Pixels? Something. Someone help me out. Okay, let's see what we have. There we go.
Look at that.
Yeah. But now we have them on one continuous row, and we don't want that. So what we can do is go back to the episode layout and say we want to flex wrap. No, that's flex wrap. And we want to set that to wrap. So it will actually wrap around, and look at that. It's
Awesome.
wrapping around. Well, it's not awesome, but it's better than nothing. But you know I'm a control freak, right? There's a lot of gap to, well, basically where I stand, here's a lot of gap. But there's not a lot of gap on the other side, and I don't like that. So I'm going to fix that as well, because I can.
Wait, what are you going to do?
I'm going to say justify content center. Now you are having nightmares when I say center.
Yep.
Yeah,
Actually,
not anymore.
Center is usually okay. It's vertically that
center doesn't really work.
That's going to be a problem.
But now we have aligned it, so we have equal amount of spacing on left and right side.
That is just fantastic.
That. But I think that we need to have a float left on the image as well, right?
Well, it depends where we want to have the image, of course.
Yeah. Float left. Let's see if that fixes it. Yes.
There we go.
Still looks a little bit iffy, but we're at least a little bit further down. But we could fix the text in a iffy way that I don't think that Ed would approve of. But again, I said it. It will smell, and we can fix it later, but we can set a margin top. Ooh, this is going to hurt. To -5 pixels.
Could you scroll up again?
Oh, sorry. And thank you for reminding me. So, margin top -5 pixels. And while we're at it, let's put a padding to the left.
So why are we doing a margin top -5?
Because we don't know how to do it correctly.
But why?
That's the first one. The other one is...
What problem are we trying to solve?
So we are trying to solve... Well, we didn't solve. Did I forget a minus sign? We're trying to solve that the top of the image and the top of the text isn't aligned. So that was what we were trying to solve. But it does not work. Why doesn't it work? It jumped... Or did it? It might... I don't know.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, but what we could do is actually test out...
Maybe 5 pixels were too much. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was. What we could do is go in and change...
Yes, let's do that.
You already have dark.
Huh.
That is odd. Did I put the colors on wrong or something?
No, wait. That well, that should be the one.
Yeah, because it should switch colors now. When I do this, it should actually be a dark background. Why isn't that working? Let me see. Did I ask it to do that?
It wasn't there another setting? One is for the web browser and one is for the content? Wasn't it something like that?
But this worked. This piece of code I've used on my computer, and it switches when I switch in the Edge browser.
And you're
like
switching.
That.
Okay.
Exactly like that.
Well,
I think actually you can check on that. Prefer color scheme dark. Yes, and background would be the dark and font color is the light. Root is the other way around. And in the HTML, we are setting the background here. And we are setting the font colors, but it doesn't take any of those. Why is your computer acting up?
Is it?
I don't know. It doesn't work, so it must be your computer.
Of course.
So now we have light theme. Nothing. That is odd. I didn't even have to reboot for mine. Maybe I have another setting in my browser. Let's try system default then. This should be dark because I know you have dark everywhere.
I do.
Okay, so we have to get back to that and see if it's Windows 11 Visual Studio 2022 thing.
That might be the case.
Yeah. So let's get back to that next time, I think, so we don't do that. But what I want to do, which I... because if we look at these, it's image, text, and you really... Well, now it's formatted really shitty. But apart from that, you can't really see that these are items that lives together. So I want to put in a shadow because we could not put in shadows back in my day. So we can do that by creating a class, and let's call it episodes shadow. And
can I see the media query again?
You want to see the media
quickly.
query? There we go. Prefer color scheme dark. And I put it in...
Prefers. Color
Prefers.
scheme.
There we go. So now we should see it. There we go.
There we go. Awesome.
Yeah, now it actually looks like they're aligning a little bit better.
I mean, in the Internet Explorer days, Internet Explorer would have, hey, I'm guessing she means prefers.
Yes.
And just solve it
Yes.
for us.
That is correct. So I want to put in a box shadow. And now it takes 5 variables, or whatever you call it.
Could you scroll up again?
My gosh, why am I down here?
I'm not that tall.
There we go. So the first number I'm putting in here is the offset on the x-axis. So I'm putting that to 2 pixels. And the second one is the y-axis, and I put that as 2 pixels. And we have the blur radius, so how much is it going to blur? And I set that to 2. And then we have a spread radius, because why not have more radiuses? And let's not spread too much. And then it takes a color. So I will type RGBA. I always get them reversed. And I actually want to set those to... Oh, wait. Now I'm setting that to... I'm doing this for the dark theme. Yeah, okay. So let's do 0, 0, 0. And the alpha comes last. And let's put that to 0.2. Oh, I forgot a comma. No, I did something wrong. 0, 0, 0. I have one too many zeros. And one too many commas. There we go. And now we should have, hopefully... No, because I haven't set it yet. My gosh. Let's set that in the episodes page. And let's set that in the article, because the article is encapsulating both the text and the URL and the publish date. So let's say class equals epi. Why isn't it helping me? Episodes shadow. Why isn't it helping me? Come on.
So is that going to work on both light and dark themes?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Depending on how you want it to look, of course. There we go. And we can play around with this later. We can change the background as well. So it can be maybe a little bit, we can put in like a 20% transparency or something. But for now, let's just put it in so we have it in the code and we can work on that. And depending on, now we have the shadow being dark. So if we change to the light theme, it will probably pop a little bit more. But yes, it is because we set the transparency to so low. So we still have a lot of work to do here, but we also have a index page that we need to fix, right? So let's do that.
We are over time, but let's do the
Yeah,
index
this
page
is a
as
quick
well.
one.
Yeah.
So
Just wanted to
if
say
you
that.
have the image here, though.
I do have the Explorer.
Yeah.
There we go. That's
Okay, so let's
in the
do
right
the host
place.
logo. Do we have a, let's put in the root folder, right?
Mhm.
And I will put a folder called images, like so. And into that, I will drag this image. There we go. And let's do a simple one. Let's do a div. And I'm going to do another class. I like classes now. And let's
your
call
friend.
it, because, oh, now you're going to cringe. Center. You see where this is going?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember the nightmares? Trying to center something? Those days are gone. There's actually multiple ways we can do that.
So to be able to get to that file, you will now have to type / underscore content underscore. No, sorry, slash. Sorry. And coding after work with the
Coding after work
components
components.
with a dot instead of a minus.
Yeah.
It's spelled with a minus.
It's a minus for me. Components.
And then
slash
images.
Okay, because you went ahead and did a component and messed things up for me. Yes. But it's still close enough. I also happen to know that, oh yeah, right, I need the file name of it as well. That could be...
So basically what we're telling the page is that I want to get the image from, and then content is going to say that it lives in an somewhere in an assembly, and the assembly name is going to be codingafterwork.components, and then it's going to be in the images folder.
Awesome. So last CSS for today. Oops. I will create the last class of the day, which we called Center, because I like that. Also because I remember. And we will set the height to, and this is again a trick I picked up from Ed on the stream. So we will set the height to 100 view height, which is as much as we can see on the screen, basically. Otherwise, it will only put whatever it's rendering. I don't know, but this works wonders, so I'm using it. We also want to display flex here as well, so we can do magic stuff. And we again want to justify content, and we want to center that, and we want to align our items. Guess to what? Center. Now, pray for me.
So basically what you're saying is that we have the rock in there.
The rock?
Display flex.
Yes!
There we go.
There we go. And we can, of course, didn't I set the height? We can, of course, set the height because it's such a big image. Index. I forgot where we were. I did set the height. Let's set it so to 400 then. Do you understand it now? There we go.
Awesome.
And it's centered.
And look at us.
I know, right? So that is now our first page on the web. We have nothing else. Well, we do have the lists as well. We do that.
And usually we have the backdrop. And then we are on the other. I'm standing on the you, and you are standing on the me. And now it's the same.
It's still reversed. It is.
Playing with center.
Yes,
I need this.
It's so fun. And I mean, if you appreciate that, just look at this. Let's make it 200.
Let me guess. It's still center.
It's still center. I mean, come on.
Fantastic.
It is.
That involves like 3 divs or something like that,
and 14
CSS
yeah,
thingies at least.
I know. So we are in our sprint 3, and we did add the possibility for themes to the episodes page. So let's.
Stacy actually gave up trying to do that.
What do I do here? I don't remember. I want to mark this as done.
You'll assign it to you first. Up.
Unassigned. There we go. Well, I'm here twice. There we go.
And then state, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, state I think I could do before. State is
yeah, you
done.
can do that, but you're not getting any credits.
Okay. And we did add the colors as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm just using different... There we go. And it's also done. And save and close. Oh, it says done here. And you did show the podcasts. So let's assign that to you and mark it as done.
Done.
Green! That's awesome.
We're a little bit over, 16 minutes over, but we still got everything done.
Mm-hmm. That's the tax. Oh, that's the Windows 11 rant.
Oh, right. That actually might be true.
Yeah. The start button rant. Cool. So next time we will continue work on the pages. And let's see what we come up with. There's some fixing to do.
We're doing that already next week, aren't we?
I think we are.
Cool.
Awesome. So thanks everyone for joining us. It was fun.
Bye.
Bye.